episode 20 here of The Crowded Booth. I'm Bryce Kuhn alongside Cal and Mason here, and we're going to pick up where we left off. Part 2 of this little interview, and it's been a little bit of time, guys, between the last time we talked. Last time out, we talked about kind of what bass fishing is, kind of how people are getting introduced to it, how you got introduced to it, and Cal kind of helped you along there and kind of talked about what people might not know about the sport. Today we're going to talk a little more specifically about y'all. When we visited you last time, it was about a week or the weekend before the state championship and kind of the end of your high school career. And Mason, I'll let you start talking about that. How has all this gone here in the past 3 months from the time that you graduated high school and had all these tournaments until you went to college? And talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a rush. It's been crazy, man. I remember, we were sitting here just a couple months ago talking about going into state, and just everything since then has just been a roller coaster, man. It's really going really fast. Can't believe it's over. But so state, we were going into it super optimistic. We thought we had a good game plan together, and it ended up being okay. What happens? We went into it thinking we could catch them deep, and didn't go so well. We caught 10.5 pounds, while the majority of the field was actually catching, upper close to the 20 pound range, and so we realized pretty quickly that wasn't going to cut it. We needed to change up our game plan, and so the next day we decided to go shallow. We caught, almost 21 pounds basically, and smoked them shallow, and so ended up being really good. Ended up actually getting 7th place in the state championship for bass, and that was really good. It wasn't what we really wanted. We wanted to get that win because that would have been super cool to have an FLW state championship win on top of a bass, but can't complain. We had a big rebound from what we did the first day, so can't complain with that. And I guess, Cal, if you want to talk a little about Pickwick.
Yeah, so you had a tournament in between there in Nashville, not a lot of people know about, and you can talk about that as well, Cal.
Yeah, actually, what it was is we fished 2 different organizations, FLW and Bass. And actually, this year we were fortunate enough we qualified for FLW Nationals and Bass Nationals. So not too long after state, we had FLW Nationals. That was on Pickwick Lake in Florence, Alabama. And last year in that tournament, we actually finished 2nd. So we were going in with high hopes, hoping we could do the same exact thing. And we had a mediocre practice. We found some fish, and going into the first day, we were just excited to get out there. Pickwick is our favorite lake, so anytime you get to fish a tournament on your favorite lake, it's always a good time. And that first day, we just had an unbelievable day. Mason caught his personal best smallmouth. I caught my personal best largemouth. It was just an awesome day, and we were going into the second day in 4th place, which is about right where we were sitting last year, and then we ended up taking the lead last year. But this year it was a little bit different. We this is one of the, I think it's the most humbling sport out there, because you can catch them one day and then the next day you'll get your heart broke, which is exactly what happened to us. We were stoked to get back out there because we really wanted to get that national championship win after coming so close last year. And that second day, we were definitely humbled, and we didn't even catch a keeper. We came in with a big fat 0 that second day, which isn't going to cut it. It made us quite emotional, but you got to move on. It happens to everybody, even the best of them. And we had a few awesome friends that helped us out with that, and we just went in with high hopes in the next one, which I guess you can talk about.
For sure. And so then after that, we had a Bass National Championship, which would be our last high school tournament. We fished that last week. And so again, we were super fortunate. We couldn't believe we qualified for both organizations 2 years in a row. That's really cool. We got to do that. So again, just going into it with super high hopes. We really wanted to just win the thing going into our last high school tournament, and that's really what we ultimately wanted. Had a really good practice, actually. We knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to go shallow, and we were catching several 3-pounders and the occasional 4 from time to time. So that was really good, considering what we've been talking to people about, what they've been catching. And August is super tough fishing pretty much around the country. It's always really tough in August. So we knew if we could get around 12 pounds a day, we'd be looking really good. And so anyway, first day of the tournament, we ended up would have been 9 pounds 4 ounces. but he actually caught a 5-pounder in like the last 30 seconds. I mean, we were really pushing. Actually, probably more than we should have. And we got super excited. We're jumping around, and finally got that kicker bite we needed. And that was actually only our third fish. We only caught 3 fish for the day. And so we got all excited, and we start firing off more casts, trying to we were fishing out deep. So most of the time when you catch a fish offshore, there's going to be a school there, and so we wanted to get back into that school and try to get them while they were fired up. In the process, we didn't realize that we only had like 3 minutes to get back to the weigh-in, even though we could see literally where the bridge is where the weigh-in was in Paris. And man, we tried to get out of there as fast as we could and get there. We were in the line at 3:45, and actually as soon as we went to throw our buoy in the net, the clock ticked over to 3:46, and so they got us a minute late, and so that's a pound. And in a tough tournament in August like that, man, that really cost us a lot. Yeah. And so we weighed in 9.4, and that ended up being 8.4. And so that positioned us pretty decently in the field for the first day. We knew we were going to have to catch them the next day to really, we had to make that top 12 cut to make it to the final day. So then the next day, actually, the first fish of the morning, Cal caught another 5-pounder. And so this kid was on fire, man. We really, really needed those 2 5s. It helped us a ton. And the next day we ended up weighing, I think it was 8:15 the second day.
After a dead fish penalty. So
the big one died the second day. And
we just that tournament we made a lot of bad choices, and to have a good tournament in tournament bass fishing, you got to make good choices. You got to make the right decisions, and time is everything. And we just didn't manage our time well. We didn't make good decisions, and like I said, to have a good tournament, you just can't let that happen. And we fished as hard as we possibly could, and tried to get 5 decent bites a day, but it just didn't happen. And like I said, we didn't make good choices, and that's just something you can learn from. It's all a learning experience. You learn something every day you're out on the water, and that's what we took from that is a learning experience.
So you talk about kind of the end of your high school career didn't quite end the way you imagined it. I will ask you this, though, for each of you, and Mason, go first. What was the best memory of your high school fishing career at Harris County?
Best memory? It's probably cliche to say this, but, man, that second place at Pickwick last year for the FLW National Championship, just the whole experience of that as a whole was so mind-blowing to me. It was my first year fishing, and we had won a state championship earlier in that spring of that year, but just the mind-blowing experience that was, I can't even tell you. I remember the first day I caught a 5.5-pounder. The second day Cal caught a 5.5, and I think just those moments were probably the most special in my high school career, because I just remember looking at the bag we had those 3 days and just thinking, like, holy cow, we're doing it. And just the whole thing was just so surreal. I mean, it literally, everything went so right. We've never had a tournament, much less a 3-day tournament, go so right. And I'll never forget, when we got crowned as the champions. That was an insane moment, and granted, second place is amazing too, but that moment of getting crowned champs was one of the most memorable, and then ultimately getting second was very memorable too. But that whole experience for sure would have to be my most memorable.
Yeah, definitely a surreal experience to see what you've accomplished and have 3 days in a row where you're that successful. Now, Cal, he took a really good one, but what would your kind of a little bit of a longer time, you've been doing it more than Mason, but what is your best memory here in high school as you get ready for college?
Man, Mason actually took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, it's hard not to pick that one because, like he said, it was, in a multi-day tournament like that and going into the last day leading, you have all eyes on you, and that was really our first experience of, all these, it was a televised show, so, we had all these cameras following us around, and we really got a taste of, like, what hopefully our future is going to be about, and it was, and for anybody who doesn't know about that, we did, in that tournament, we weighed in the last day, and there was a glitch in the computers with the weights, and we got crowned the champions, even though we really weren't. We lost by like 1.5 pounds, but What was my most memorable experience, and it was at that tournament, was when that happened. They offered to FLW offered to crown us co-champions, which would basically mean it's a tie between us and the team that actually won. But Mason and I made the decision that we came in second, so that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
We went to the tournament director. We told him, look, we don't want co-champions. There's no co-champions in bass fishing. They had more weight over the 3 days than we did, so they won. And so we told them we wanted our second place. We got our second place plaques, and we took them with pride. And what I will always forget through the rest of my fishing career, or what I'll always remember through the rest of my fishing career, is FLW that very next day, because the next day was the last day of that tournament, and FLW had recognized us for doing what we did, which they didn't have to do, but they did, and we appreciate them for that. But after all that and everything was said and done, we had adults coming up to us and crying and hugging us and saying how proud they were of the decision we made, and how they hope their kids will soon make good choices like that. And I mean, as much as I'd like to say we were trying to set an example, we were just doing what we felt was right.
Yeah.
And seeing those grown adults, that are however many years older than us, come up to us crying and saying how proud they were of the decision we made, it meant something to Mason and I, and we took that, and I'm sure Mason can say the same. It's always gonna be right here through the rest of my fishing career, because that's just something that I took, and I'll never forget, because that was crazy.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a really cool experience. Both of you kind of taking something different away from that same tournament. Now we look towards now, and when we're recording this, you are a week away from moving in at the University of Montevallo in Alabama. You're going over there. You have left your high school career here, and you're looking towards the future. And a big part of this is the Outdoor Scholars Program that Mason's actually got the shirt on. He's repping right now. But Mason, talk to us a little bit about that program, what it means for you two to be able to enter that program, and how it's going to help you further your, not only while you're there, but maybe your future.
Right. So the Outdoor Scholars Program, first of all, if I could draw it up, literally just middle school Mason, what college I would want to go to, the perfect scenario. If I could draw it all out and just pinpoint everything I'd want in a program at a college, this is it, man. I mean, it's truly incredible. The whole way it was started is pretty amazing, and it shows what support it has. The president of the college, Dr. John Stewart, he was a really big outdoorsman. He was a professional red fisherman, is what he did. Caught redfish inshore, and was a really good tournament angler on that side of things. And also really enjoyed hunting and the outdoors, really big quail hunter also. And so he recognized that there wasn't enough ways for kids to get plugged into this outdoor industry and make connections and just get these connections to better put them in a position to get into the outdoor industry. And so recognizing that, he came up with the idea for the Outdoor Scholars Program, which basically, originally it was just a way to award kids that were out there in the outdoors and doing well, whether it be conservation projects or what me and Cal do. We fish tournaments and represent the outdoors in that way. And so it was started only, I think, 4 years back now, and basically it's really grown since then. And we got put into that, and we're just super excited, man, because I know it's going to bring us a lot of opportunities in the future. Can introduce us to some probably really key people, that we can shake hands with, and it might end up being our bosses one day. So really
Yeah.
cool experience.
And one of the things that's also cool, it's a program that allows for you guys, and not only you, people like doing conservation, anything with outdoors, to continue to do what they love.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you don't really see that a lot. I mean, with other sports, it's obvious. You see people, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, softball, any of that. But for fishing, like we talked about in the last episode, where it's growing, but people are still learning about it. It's an opportunity for it to kind of get put on the map, and I know that's something that y'all want to see as well. But we'll talk about this as we starting to wrap up here. You have the Outdoor Scholars Program. You'll spend your college career there. What is the idea, the plan for you all in the future? What is the goal and maybe the dream for y'all?
Well, for me, Mason and I both are going to Montevallo. We're going to major for a business and marketing degree, and that for one will just help us be in the outdoors industry. It's all marketing, and anybody who knows a lot about the sport of fishing or the sport of hunting knows that it's all marketing. So getting that degree, it'll just help us in case our future dreams don't work out. We have something to fall back on, which mine would be, the dream has always been to become a professional fisherman. I've been passionate about fishing my whole life, and it's always been the dream. I've grown up watching all these professionals that I look up to, and every time I'm watching a show, even now at the age of 18, almost 19, I still look at these guys and I'm like, I want to do that one day. So that's always been the dream for me, is to become a professional bass fisherman, and so that's what I'm going to shoot for. But again, if that doesn't work out, I'll have that business and marketing degree at Montevallo to fall back on, and I just want to do something in the industry. If the professional fishing doesn't work out, then just something in the industry will make me really happy.
Staying within that field is one of the biggest things. Yeah. What about you, Mason?
I mean, I'm with Cal. I never planned on saying a professional fisherman would be the thing that I'd want to do, but with the success we've had, I mean, it really brings the question. Is that something that I want to do? So here lately, that's definitely a dream of mine. It'd be amazing to make a living, catching fish on the whether it be Bassmasters or the FLW Tour. And so, going forward, that'd be something that would be at the top of the list that I'd like to chase. But if not, just being in the outdoor industry is what my true passion for a career would be. That's where I really want to be. So, now I feel confident that we can do what we need to do and work hard. And I think me and Cal will both be fine. I think we can find us a job in the outdoor industry. So that's my plans for sure.
And one of the best things is you're still young and you have all these opportunities you've already had, and the ones you're going to get through that Outdoor Scholars Program is going to be very beneficial. So I want to thank you both for coming on and talking a little bit about that from the first episode, talking about why people need to fish. And if you hadn't seen that episode, make sure to check it out, as Cal was very adamant it is not about luck. It takes skill just like any other sport, which was one of the things that really stood out to me, is that what Cal said, and we won't spoil it all for you, but about how other sports require skill, so why wouldn't this one?
That's right.
And, that was one of the key things that Cal pointed out. But thank you for watching, and hopefully you can keep up with both of these guys as we continue to watch their career and how it progresses. And if you hadn't seen that first episode, check that one out, and then watch this one after that. Make sure to follow us on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow these guys as well as continue to follow their career, and make sure to like and subscribe as well. And we want to thank you for watching.